All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics. And we are getting close to the end of 2023. Thank goodness for that. It's been an interesting year, I'm sure, for many of you. It's been a crazy year for me, but, you know, sometimes things happen. There's nothing you could do about that. I didn't make many purchases of comics this year. As a matter of fact, this is the least amount of comics that I've purchased since I've come back to collecting comics all the way back in 2015. But I did get some key issues, so I thought I would do my top books of 2023. I was going to do a top 10, but then I realized I only bought about 12 comics throughout the year. There's like 2 other comics that I bought, but they wouldn't even be worth putting in this list. So top 12 it is. As they say, something's always better than nothing, but the good thing is the last couple are some pretty key issues, so, you know, sometimes quality over quantity. But yeah, there's not a lot of comics that I bought this year. Usually there's like, I go look at my eBay for the year, and there's usually like 20 or 30 pages of stuff that I purchased. And this year there was a total of 3 pages. And majority of it was stuff I needed for the house and not any comics, which is unfortunate. But like I said, I got a few, and, you know, you got to go with the good and the bad, and you got to roll with the punches. So I thought I would end this year with a positive note, sharing some comic books. I already did some videos about the controversies that are going on with CGC, so if you want to check those out, if you haven't, please do. Just make sure you check the live section and not the video section, because I haven't done a regular video in 3 years. So if you go to the section that says videos, it'll look like I haven't done a video in 3 years, and I've had a lot of people leave comments about that, so you check under the live section. If you look under the AI art, which I'd love to hear your opinion of, so if you want to leave a comment about that, that's awesome. You can see some comics that are scrolling by on the bottom of the screen, and a place to contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. I did a video about a month and a half, 2 months ago, showing roughly about 30 different graded comics that I would be willing to trade for any or all of the books that are seen scrolling on the bottom of the screen. So if you happen to have any of those books or something that you think I might be interested in, please contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Like I've said before, most of you know I lost my job back in October, so I don't really have the finances to be able to buy stuff. But a trade, you know, that's one of the reasons why I tell people all the time, get multiple copies of books. So this way, if you ever need to sell 1 or 2 or do a trade like I'm trying to do, you could be able to do it and still own it. And the great thing about trades is it doesn't cost either party money other than to ship it out. So with that being said, all the books I bought were raw, except for 1. And some of them I've graded since I got them. So I did originally buy them all raw, except for one of the CGC books. Actually, 2 of the CGC books. Fingers crossed on those. But let's go over them. There's still a couple that are raw. And, of course, I'll go over the key issue about it. And I'll also talk about the prices I paid for them. So 3 people out of 6 have already hit the like button. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, so number 12 is Eternals number 2. Now, this one, most people say is, you know, what's the big deal? But this is the 30-cent variant. These are very hard to get. Now, this is the first appearance of the Celestials. I also got issue number 1 in this package, but I got it graded and I couldn't find it. So that one, the number 1 was also a 30-cent variant. I think it came back like a 9.0, and I only paid, what did I pay for it? About $54. This I paid even less. This is probably like an 8.0 to 8.5 range. I only paid $24.31 for this book. You know, sometimes it pays to get books that most people are not desiring at the moment. Because, you know, yes, the Eternals movie did not do well, but the first appearance of the Celestials is a pretty big thing. And I'm sure they will be utilized again in the MCU at some point when they get there, you know what, together. And hopefully that will be very soon. But the Celestials are still a big part of the MCU and Marvel Comics. So to get the 30-cent variant is definitely a key book to get, especially for $24. I mean, this could come back when I get it graded a 0.5, and I will do well on this. So I don't remember if it was a buy it now or it was a best offer. I think it might have been a best offer, but I got a deal that, you can't pass up on regardless if the movie did well or not. So if you can get your hands on this book in about an 8.5 is worth about, as of now, between about $150 and $200, I believe, in that range. So to get it for $24.31, to me, that was a no-brainer. And like I said, I got issue number 1, the 30-cent variant, that I believe came back a 9.0, but I just couldn't find it. But I only spent $50 on that book, and that's the first appearance of the Eternals. Next up, I definitely want to get this one graded. This is my 3rd copy of this book. This is Saga, issue number 1. This is the first print. I know that I have one signed somewhere, but that isn't this book that I just got this year. Paid a grand total of $113.05 for this book. This is absolutely a great series if you haven't had the chance to read it. This is the edge of the area of the quote-unquote modern books that I will buy. New stuff I just won't touch. But stuff like this is classic. Love the cover. It's kind of like a Western and a Star Wars when Star Wars was good. But it's definitely got some interesting characters in it. And if you haven't had the chance to pick it up, pick it up. Now, there are a couple of different prints of this book. They're going to be hard to tell the difference. I think second print has a blue colored Saga. So the first print has an orange. So if you see a different color than the orange, it's not a first print. So, unless you open it up and see what print it is, you're not going to know based on the cover. And somebody selling it may be either lying to you or they may not know. Because I've had people in the past that have sold books that thought it was a first print and it ended up not being. Like, for example, I remember somebody was selling a Bone issue number 2 and they said it was a first print. Ended up being a third print. And they were told it was a first print. Obviously, they never opened it up to check. So make sure you know, because some of these different printings, the cover looks exactly the same, but they just changed the color of the trade dress. So for $113.05, definitely worth it. 9.8 potential, but obviously nothing is guaranteed. Even a brand new book off the shelf is not guaranteed to get a 9.8, but I'm sure eventually I'll get that graded. Next up, this is one of those that was just listed on eBay. It's not a major key or anything, but it was definitely worth it for the price I paid for it. This is Tales of Suspense number 41. So this is the 10th of the top 10 that I bought this year. This is the 3rd appearance of Iron Man. Only paid $99, but after shipping and taxes, it came out to $118.42, I believe that says. I can't even read my own handwriting anymore. So this is probably about a 3.0 to a 3.5, maybe a 4. But for the 3rd appearance of Iron Man, I have the 2nd appearance of Iron Man. I have yet to achieve the acquisition of Tales of Suspense 39. That's one I would love to acquire, and that was one listed on that bottom scrolling list of comics. I would love to get the 1st appearance of Iron Man. But, sometimes you buy what you can afford. But for $118 for the 3rd appearance of Iron Man, I thought this was a pretty good pickup. So that's number 10. Number 9, this is one that had a minor controversy in it, but it was corrected. I originally paid $300 for this on eBay. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 300. It's the newsstand variant. But when I got it home, because I always tell people, if you are going to buy a raw book on eBay, make sure you check it. So either the seller did not know or just did not disclose it in hoping that I wouldn't, or somebody who bought it wouldn't check. But the first couple of pages have some stains on the inside of the book, which obviously cannot be fixed. So that would dramatically lower the grade. This is probably about a 3.0, to between a 3 and a 4, because it's not major amounts, but it was not disclosed in the sale, because I would not have paid $300 for this book if I knew there were stains inside the book. I know it's a couple of pages, but I talked to the person and I said to him, either, we could do a partial refund to cover the difference, or you can return it and, good luck with a sale. They decided to do a partial refund. So I only paid $163.28 for this book. So I think that is a reasonable price for a newsstand Amazing Spider-Man 300, which of course is the first full appearance of Venom. You can't go wrong with Amazing Spider-Man 300, especially with the newsstand. Obviously, higher price, the better grades are going to demand a higher price, and they're going to be more desirable. But, you know, you can still make plenty of profit on lower grade stuff as long as you don't overpay. So let's get to number 8. And there we go. It's another newsstand variant. We've got X-Men 266. You can always tell the newsstand variant because instead of, like, for example, Spider-Man's face or some other image there, it has the barcode. Make sure you check any book that you have that has the barcodes because you never know. There might be a centerfold with the Mark Jewelers variant, and that would make the book a heck of a lot more desirable, especially if it's a key book. This, unfortunately, is not that. It does not have the Mark Jewelers variant. I have a video about that, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, hopefully you'll search that on my channel, or you can watch it on somebody else's video and they'll tell you about it. I paid a total of, with taxes and shipping, $220.45. This is a high-grade book. They said it has, like, 9.6 potential. It has a tiny, tiny little ding on the bottom, like the very tip of the point. But remember, a 9.8 can still have one little bit of damage. Because remember, only a 10 is perfect. So a 9.8 is allowed one minor flaw. And I think that would qualify because I didn't see anything else. But you never know because I'm not going to go through every page, especially with a higher grade book because I don't want to take the chance of bending it. So on page 17, there could be a bend that I'm not aware of. So nothing is guaranteed. But for $220, it's definitely worth the chance. That is the first appearance of, well, the first full appearance of Gambit. That is questionable. So, you know, we won't argue that here. All right, number 7. And the rest will be graded from here. This is a book I will absolutely get graded. Never owned this book. And I actually thought it was very fascinating when I got it in the mail. Because the images made this book look a lot bigger than it actually is. So I was actually very surprised when I got it that it was this small. It's almost the size of like a TV guide if you're my age, and most of the people that watch my channel are. Which is funny, I checked the analytics for people who watch my videos. Nobody under the age of 35 has watched one of my videos, and it is 100% male, which I'm sure my wife will not have a problem with. But next up, so most of the people watching my videos will understand what a TV guide is, because I don't think anybody under 35 has watched one of my videos, which is fine, to each their own. But this is Dime Press issue number 4. I don't know if this is the first ever Hellboy, because I think there was a preview. But this is the first time Hellboy was on a cover. Now, this isn't a comic book. It's like a catalog. So, it does predate the Next Men 21, which is, I think, the first Hellboy in color. But this is still a significant book. Now, when they took the picture on eBay, they did this. They basically filled the entire screen with the book. So it looked like it was like one of those, like the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. Like those magazine size. That's what it looked like. So when I got the package in the mail, I'm like, I guess I got scammed because, you know, it was a small little package because they put it in an envelope. And I was like, that's definitely not a comic book. But then I opened it up to find that this is indeed the book. So I paid a total of $428. This came all the way from Italy. And it's written in Italian. So unless you understand Italian, you're not going to know anything of this book. But like I said, it's a catalog. So it's not like you're having a story or anything. But that is the technical first appearance of Hellboy. Definitely a book to acquire. I think there are only, I remember I said it on the video, I think this has only 2,000 to 3,000 copies, and that's it. I definitely know it's under 5,000, but I believe this has only 2,000 to 3,000. If somebody watches the video, or knows the exact what I said on that video, or they already know what the print run is, please make sure you put it in the comment section. But this is definitely has a low print run, so a great book to acquire if you can get it. All right, number 6. The rest of them are all graded. This one I did buy raw. It was another book that was just listed. I tell people all the time, go on eBay, look for books that say just listed, and you never know what kind of deals you can get. But got this one graded. It came out about what I thought it was going to be. And that is Amazing Spider-Man number 6. First appearance of the Lizard. This came back a 2.0. I think I predicted between a 3 and a 3.5. So this was actually lower than what I thought. So even though every now and then I get somebody saying, oh, you probably get a lot of favors done by PGX because you work with them. Well, I thought this was a 3 to a 3.5, and it came back a 2. So if that's them doing me a favor, well, But so they grade these fairly. Reason it probably got a 2, there is some dirtiness on it and everything, but there is a piece missing. Where is it? Right here. Almost the size of a $half. Like 3/4 the size of a $half. So it definitely warranted the lower grade. But I paid with the shipping, with the eBay taxes, and with the shipping to PGX and back, I paid a total of $296 altogether for this book. So that's a great price for this book. So definitely, if you can find deals, try, newly listed books. Sometimes people just want to get rid of books, or they don't know the value of a book, and you got to be quick to pounce on it. Because if I see it and I have the PayPal credit, I'm going to jump on it. Sam says, love your content, bro. Great comic. That's fire, Hellboy. Oh, thank you, Sam, and welcome to my channel. I appreciate that. Jacob Morgan is here. Says, I have a Mark Julius 266. It is at least a very fine or maybe higher. That's awesome if you got a Mark Julius. That's book definitely get graded if you can get it. We also got Papa Ken Comics and more. We got Matt, I think it's Stage or Stage, so forgive me if I mispronounced that. He says, I just went through my collection looking for a 30-cent variant. No luck. Well, that doesn't mean you can't find one in the wild, so keep searching. You never know. We also got GT Key Comic. He's always here. It's great to see you. He's one of my moderators. Let's get into the top 5 books. This book, I definitely remember it was listed for a certain price, and I don't remember exactly what the price was. It wasn't, from what I remember, it wasn't even a best offer. It was a buy it now price, but I messaged him and asked if you would, accept a lower price and I'd pay for it right away. And they were happy to accept it. This was a raw book. I got it graded. It came back a 9.8, which made this even sweeter. But this is, as you can see, Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. This is the first print, but it is triple signed. It is signed by Robbie Rodriguez. It is signed and remarked by Jason Latour. So a remark is just like a little doodle. They don't consider it a sketch or a drawing. So they call that a remark. But it's also got the great Stan Lee. So I paid a total of $768 for this book raw. I think they were selling it for like $1,400 or something like that. And I was amazed that they accepted it. So you never know. Don't assume that everybody's going to decline an offer. Some people may get insulted by your offers, and I've had that happen. Matter of fact, I was just trying to do a transaction before this video, and I actually made the wrong price by mistake. I was asking if they would take $800 and hit the 9 instead and didn't realize it. So they sent me an initial, they had a book for $1,300, but there was no best offer. I sent them a message saying, would you take $750? They sent me a message, they just sent me an offer of $1,000, which I declined, and said, if you can do $800, I'll pay for it right now. I had enough on my PayPal account that I could do it. But by mistake, I put $900 and didn't realize it. So this person might not have known what they were doing, because it took like a half hour in between messages for the person to change the thing they were saying they were changing. So when they sent me the offer of $900, I didn't accept it because I was under the assumption we agreed at $800. Then I looked at my message because we were messaging back and forth, and I actually wrote $900. So I tried to apologize, but at that point the person was just too pissed and won't deal with me. I mean, I feel bad that I made the mistake, but I mean, for the guy to get furious when it was his own fault that he didn't know what he was doing on changing the thing. I mean, I was very respectful, very polite, and I think he was more aggravated that he couldn't figure out how to change it. And then he just said either accept the 900 or I'm just not going to bother. I mean, it's pretty rude. So I lost out on that deal. But, you know, not everybody's going to be that way. Make an offer. You never know. So to get a triple signed Edge of Spider-Verse #2 with a Stan Lee signature, a Robbie Rodriguez little remark, 9.8 with white pages for $768. That to me, I can't say a steal, but that's a pretty darn good price. That's probably about a $2,000 to $2,500 book. Because remember, triple signed and the remark, and one of the signatures is Stan Lee. All right, so the top 4. This is only one of 2 CGC books, so fingers crossed, but I do not think this one is one that I have to be concerned about. As a matter of fact, this might even be no, it looks like the grade it's supposed to be. It could be a 7, but, you know, who knows if I crack it open, because it doesn't look like it has any pressable defects. So it might not be worth it, but I don't think I have to worry. This is Werewolf by Night, of course, number 32. This is off-white to white pages. It is a CGC book. I paid, with shipping and handling, $1,016.50. Now is the time to be getting books like this, because I think they've pretty much hit rock bottom. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean you can't find a steal every now and then, and somebody selling a book where they're practically giving it away because they just need the money quickly, or they don't know what the value is. But I think for this book, for that price, it was something worth getting. So that's, of course, is after taxes and shipping costs. So off-white to white pages, 6.5. First appearance of Werewolf by Night. I sold a couple of copies with my live auctions, and I know I sold one of my higher grade ones when I moved here to Florida. So to get a 6.5 back, this is my highest grade of book that I had. I think the one I actually had that I sold back in the day was about a 5 or a 6. So I also have a 3.5 of this book, so now I own 2 copies. So who knows, maybe if somebody wanted to involve a trade with that book or the other one, you never know. All right, top 3. This book to me was a no-brainer. This one I don't have to worry about. It is a CGC book because it is in a qualified grade. So I highly doubt a scammer that did those kind of things is going to put a book in a qualified label because they're already hard enough to sell. But I thought for the price, this was absolutely worth taking the chance on. This was Batman number 13. So a very early Batman. It does have a Joker appearance. The only thing, if you want to call it special, is it has a Joe DiMaggio appearance. So there's no first appearances in this book. But this came out in 1942. It is a qualified 4.5. It's missing 2 pages, but it says it does not affect the story. So the pages that are missing are coupons. So very happy about that. So there is a complete story here. I only paid, because of the green label, I only paid $460.16 for this book. So for me, this was a no-brainer to pick this up. Now, a lot of people see the purple labels or the green labels and they just won't touch it. Now, it depends on the price, because you can get books that you may not be able to afford in their regular blue labels and, use this as a holding spot until maybe one day you find a blue label version. But you're not gonna get a blue label Batman number 13 for $450 unless you find it from somebody at a yard sale that doesn't know what it's worth. So to me, this was a no-brainer. So it is incomplete, but like I said, it does not affect the story. Some people may not have gotten it, and that's perfectly fine, because that just means I didn't have to worry about somebody else owning the book. So there we go. All right, the top 2. This obviously is a no-brainer. This was a person that did just a listed book. They either had it listed at $1,400 or $1,500, but again, it was a buy it now. It did not have a best offer. I contacted them and said, will you take a certain amount of money? And they said yes. They were hesitant at first, because I remember I did an offer. Oh no, they did have a best offer on this one, but it was just listed. I think it was $1,400 best offer. So I did an offer of $999, and they declined it, saying, I just listed it. I could probably get more. They sent me, I think, like $1,250, and I declined it. And I did a counter offer of $1,000, and they accepted it. So they turned down the $999, but accepted the $1,000. So I literally paid $1 more than what I was originally asking to get this book as, and that is Hulk 181. It was raw when I bought it, so I do know there's a Marvel value stamp in here, because all of my Hulk 181s I bought raw. The only one I didn't buy raw, I cracked open because it had pressable defects, sent it to PGX a couple of years back, got it regraded, and it went from an 8.0 to an 8.5. So it didn't go up much, but it still went up. And it had the Marvel value stamp in it. This one I know has, I think I have 6 copies of Hulk 181. Only one of them does not have the Marvel value stamp. And I bought it that way because it has 2 signatures on it. One of it being Stan Lee, I believe. And the other is Herb Tramp. But I paid, after taxes, $1,080 because they offered free shipping. So it came back a 3.0 off-white to white pages. I mean, you can't go wrong with Hulk 181. It is the first full appearance of Wolverine. Whether they do the next movies or the next person who plays Wolverine right will not affect this grade other than anything temporary. Because, Wolverine doesn't need a movie to be popular. It only helps him retain his popularity. If they do it justice, it's going to dramatically increase the value because more people are going to want to get in. If they hire some idiot to do Wolverine, or they turn him into, like Morty from Rick and Morty, the book's going to go down, but temporarily. It's always going to be a desirable book. So to pay a little bit over $1,000 for a full, complete, with Marvel value stamp 3.0 off-white to white pages, to me, that's a no-brainer. And the #1 comic. There was some controversy with the grade. When I did my research, to me, I think this grade was absolutely fair. There were people that had a problem with it. I even called another grader. I did a video about it, and they said the grade that it got is not out of the realm of possibility. If this would have came back a 0.5 higher grade, I would have taken it out because then I wouldn't have agreed with it. So this was a book. They had it listed, I think, for $3,500 altogether. Now, I did not have the money. I actually asked my mother if I could, borrow the money and I would be able to pay her back in payments. She gave me part of the money. My wife gave me another $500 towards it. And ultimately, in the end, my mother and my wife both said to me, don't worry about paying back. And what I did was, because I didn't want to take advantage of it, I said, this will be, from both of you, my birthday and Christmas present. So you don't have to get me anything for my birthday, and you don't have to get me anything for Christmas. So this ultimately cost me $0. I mean, that's not something this is the only time, because when I saw this book, it was the opportunity to own it. I've never owned it before. And it was just something I knew that the deal that they offered for this, even in the low grade it's in, I thought it was an opportunity that I might not ever see again. So I had to pounce on it. And thank God my mother was kind enough to do that. My wife was kind enough to do that. And let's just show it. So 8 people watching, 13 of you hit the like button. So A couple more people than actually watching were kind enough to watch and hit the like button, so it means basically my rambling makes people want to run away as fast as possible, which, I don't blame them. So number 1 is Hulk #1. First appearance of the Hulk. Now, it does have a bug bite here. It does have pieces, a couple of pages missing here. But this book is complete. It got a 1.0 off-white to white pages. The biggest difference between something that is cut out and a bug bite is something cut out is intentional. The bug bites are not intentional. That's nature. So if this wasn't for the bug bites, the rest of the cover looks like this book would have been a 6.0 to a 6.5. And the back of the book looks incredibly sharp as well, obviously except for that part, because it does go through all the way through on this bottom part. But it is complete. The staples are intact. It's got off-white to white pages. I don't know who had this book and how they stored it, but, bugs got to it. And because of that, I was able to get a book that, I say all the time, low grade is better than no grade. And even though this isn't in the greatest condition, I still now own the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk, which is actually rarer than Amazing Fantasy 15. And to me, I just am forever thankful to having such an amazing wife and such an amazing mother that allowed me to do something. I've never asked either of them to ever be able to do something like that, and I don't think I'd ever do it again. This was just an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up on, and I had every intention of paying them back, but it ended up becoming my birthday and my Christmas present from my mother and from my wife. So neither one of them had to spend any more money for those holidays. So that's perfectly fine with me. So those are the top 12 books. Thank you to the 13 people that were kind enough to hit the like button. Thank you to the 5 people that stayed until the end. I know my channel is just never going to be popular because of videos I did the other day. I'm going to say things that people need to hear, not what they want to hear. And many people just can't handle that. And that's a shame. But you guys stuck around, so thank you so much for that. And Rand4 and Sam. And we'll also do Visiony iView TV. We'll have all 3 of you today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. So you guys know what to do. And if you don't, you can message me and I'll tell you. Just post links in the comments section. I do have to approve them first. And if you see a link, it means it has been approved. So if you click on a link, it's not going to take you to a porn site or somewhere inappropriate. So give the people the support they deserve. I want to thank everybody for watching. I don't think I'll be doing a video tomorrow, but check around just in case. If I don't, I want to thank all of you for sticking through this year, which was probably one of the more challenging years in my recent history. A lot of things have happened that I've never even spoke about here. It's been a very challenging year. Losing the only financial support of my job was challenging, but the good thing is having comics and having multiples of comics, I was able to sell some to be able to pay for some bills. I have investments and things like that. So that's why it does pay to collect comics for investment reasons. But make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know the value of books. Don't be afraid to make deals. Put in the time and effort. And sometimes you'll just be rewarded. So even though 2023 for me was I'll just say, because I want to keep it on a positive note, it was a challenging year. We'll put it that way. So I'm looking forward to 2024. Even though I have a feeling 2024 with the upcoming presidential election here in the United States of America Corporation, I have a feeling there is going to be a lot of controversial situations happening organically coming out of the news and the media. So if you see any blackouts or alien invasions or some kind of situation with Taiwan, be very careful. They're going to be setting up a lot of things to keep you away from voting, in my opinion. You could think that's crazy talk, but you know what? A lot of people that talk crazy talk in the past few years ended up being right. So just be alert. I want to wish everybody a happy new year in case I don't make a video tomorrow. I really appreciate you all sticking by me. And if you go out for New Year's, please be very careful. Don't start the new year having your family having to spend the beginning of 2024 grieving the loss of their loved ones. So please be careful. If you drink too much and you're at a friend's house or someplace, get an Uber home. Stay at their house if you can. Get a designated driver. But please, don't be another statistic. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the 13 people that hit the like button. And I'd love to read your comments. And here, again, is the thumbnail I put. And on the bottom of the screen is scrolling all books I would love to eventually do a trade for. If you're somebody that has one or all of those books and you watched the video I did about 2 months ago of all the books I would be willing to trade, I'd be willing to trade all 30 for one of them if it's a fair trade or, you know, whatever amount it takes. So check out that video and you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. And I'd love to do a trade and have some new books for 2024. On that note, have a wonderful night. Stay safe. And don't forget, it's not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching. And happy 2024.